that if his father was so worried about how to get rid of this man, then he could offer him something. At this time, the brown-haired man was holding his shovel, while Newman was on the ground, looking at him with excitement. Newman heard that they wanted to put an angry rat on his head and then expel him from the estate, wounded by rats, and if not, then they would demote him to an ordinary soldier and give him a chance to atone for his sins. At this time, the rest of the people were frightened by such a statement because they understood that it sounded inhuman. Arcus at this time, his eyes bulged in surprise and understood that in order to carry out justice for a minor offense, he would be given a chance to atone, but with a warning of a more severe punishment. Bayern stood next to Xavier and frowned, saying that it was a wise and generous decision and a good warning to others. The protagonist looked at the nobles who sat on the platform, and they agreed to do as he suggested. At this time, the knight with a mustache, without raising his head, said that he had no objections, because he had just been shown mercy. The protagonist looked at him puzzled and tried to understand what kind of mercy. He imagined how a black silhouette of a man sat on a rug in front of his king, and Lloyd understood if he would treat the criminals kindly and whether they would atone for their sins for the forgiveness granted to them. But he realized that this would not happen. Then his black silhouette laughed maliciously, because he realized that in this case they would become more decisive and strong-willed and would try to take advantage of their kindness. At this time, Newman grinned angrily and realized that they would regret this decision because he would definitely take revenge on this upstart. Newman looked discontentedly from under his brows at the protagonist, who was glad of his smile, and it was a pity that it would be his last. The beaten knight looked at his opponent in bewilderment and asked him to repeat. Then the main character gave a seed to his hamster. Then he threw this beast high into the sun. Lloyd looked at Newman with bloodthirsty arrogance and declared what the best way to ask for forgiveness was, hinting that there was none. At this time, the hamster was deliciously devouring the seed. Then he began to increase in size. The blonde, along with Arcus, looked at what was happening in amazement. Bayern, along with Andri, were also scared and opened their mouths in horror. The rest of the crowd of people bulged their eyes in